From 17 years, when I was 17 years, my mother tells me that there were prophetic words that had gone ahead of me when I was in the womb about my destiny and all of that, but she never was keen about it. But when I went to Kumasi High School and had my own encounter and started following the will of God for my life, it was not too long after conversion, after my encounter with God, that I started entering into leadership positions in high school. So got converted in my first year of high school. By the second year, I was actually in the SU executive team. I was also music director for the SU group, Shalom Singers in Kumasi High School. And I became Pensa president for Pentecost Students and Associates. So it was evident that God will have me be in leadership and be pastoring people. Of course, if you are the Pensa president of Kumasi High School, which is like 2,000 students at the time, you were pastoring about 500 students who were within the Pentecost Students and Associates fraternity. So it was some huge responsibility. Right from there, I was music director for Voice of the Spirit. It was an interdenominational group, music group in Kumasi. Prince of Mentor fame came through that. Enstroma, who is also a gospel musician, Pastor Emmett now, Pastor Prince at Holy Hill Assemblies of God. All of them came from that group. And our teens were in that group, and I was music director for that group as well. So it was quite evident that the call of God was upon me, and the idea of pastoring was what I was running away from. Because again, I was a funky young man, and at the time, pastoring wasn't that funky. You know, when you heard about pastors, you were seeing people in cassock, and some long chain, so I wasn't so amused about the kind of pastors I was seeing. So it wasn't something I wanted to be until I came in contact with Precious Heyman, who was more like my spiritual father growing up, who was president for Voice of the Spirit. He was a charismatic leader, and I saw myself in him some way, somehow. I think from that point on, I started yielding to the idea of doing ministry when the time is right. So yeah, I've known that the hand of God was upon me right from my teenage years, somewhere around 17 years.
Awesome. So when did you finally decide to,
embrace it
and, go full time?
That was 2019. 2019.
So it's quite recent.
Quite recent.
So you went into music professionally before?
Yes, I went into music professionally as a recording artist in 2014. 2014. And in 2019, the leadership of my church called me into the pastorate. And I felt the time was ripe. So I walked in.
Go into it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as you said, you're the funky type. Was there no tendency for you to, fine, you were the Pensa president back then.
Yes, I was.
So there was no room for you to be, let's say, a bad boy or anything of that sort?
Before that, I was. Before I had my encounter with God in high school, I was. In primary school, I was there. I was the ruddy boy leading gangs in Kumasi. I grew up in Kumasi, Ahinsai, precisely. If you know Ahinsai, you need some tough skin to be in that terrain. Yeah, so I was quite into it. I mean, I'd done karate, and of course, if you do your karate as a young man, you need to show some skills, break some legs and some
displaying them
and things. So we've done all that until my encounter in high school. I mean, the story of my conversion is quite intriguing. I was going to Kumasi High School. I had chosen Kumasi High School first, second, third choice.
Oh wow!
My father,
you really wanted.
I wanted to be there. My father was pissed. So pissed that he actually wanted to take me to T.I. Ahmadiyya. and Tia Media is a Muslim school,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So if a Christian father
Go into, I mean, so just to punish you.
just but as a no, it's either high school or no
nothing
school,
else.
you know. So he eventually took me there, and my father did something that I believe was the catalyst for my encounter with God. Before I left high school, he called me into his bedroom, laid hands on me, and prayed some real prayers. You know, some very hearty prayers over me. And of course, I was going to Kumasi High School because I had friends who were living the life I wanted to live. And I wanted to be in that school to be, you know, join the bandwagon of bad boys, you know. But the moment I got to high school, I believe my father's prayer started kicking in. Such that every time I was on the verge of doing something silly, I could hear my father's prayer ringing in my ears.
Wow.
You know, and that I believe was one of the reasons I had the kinds of encounters I had, and eventually changed. So yeah, my father was the one that actually, you know, started all of this for me. I believe, you know, the kinds of things that I am doing today, I can actually link all of it to my father's prayer back in the day I was entering high school.